So, just a PSA to all the listeners out there, if you are going to do field work, it's a really good idea to check to make sure your field equipment isn't broken before you leave to go do the field
Oh
work.
god.
Just
Oh no.
putting that out there.
Oh no. Welcome to another episode of Midlight Crisis, a real podcast hosted by three grown-up biologists revisiting books from our teens, and it's totally cool. I am one of your hosts, and I am named Sophie. But for the purposes of this podcast, I have a randomly generated fantasy name. And that name today is Amigator Truth Farmer.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. I will farm the truth from you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amigator Truth Farmer. That's
Yeah.
pretty legit. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah. This, honestly, Amigator Truth Farmer feels a bit more sci-fi to me.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But
It's the
I'm
Tor.
here for it. Yeah, it's the Tor.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Anyway, who are you guys?
Oh man. Well, I'm not a gator, but my name is Sam, but you can call me Alice Soul Hay Bandit.
Oh.
Wait. Hay bandit?
Wait,
Like
does-
the grass?
Yeah.
does she steal hay or does she use hay as cover for her banditing?
Both. Both.
Are you
Both is
stealing
good.
hay from my truth farm?
Yes. Yes, I am. Because you are actually farming the truths that are keeping the people oppressed.
Yeah,
Oh,
true hay. Dang. You're like a
And-
Robin Hood.
I must set the truth free so the
Wow.
rebellion can
Wow.
live on.
Dang.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
I love it.
I'm the bad guy for sure.
You're the villain, yeah.
Amigator's such a dick.
Okay, Hannah, how do you fit into our story now?
Well,
If only you
Start
were a
with-
ship
yeah, I was a ship fucker, and then Sim's boyfriend came into the spreadsheet, said, "Oh, ship fucker," and then left, so I had to pick a new name.
I am truly sorry.
Heck off,
Yeah,
Sam's
we tried to
boyfriend.
be helpful and it
He was trying to be
backfired.
helpful, and it ruined it. But anyway, when my name isn't Hannah or ship fucker, for the purposes of this podcast, you can call me a rattling birdman.
What?
A rattling birdman.
A rattling birdman. I eat the hay. The seeds
Are
from
you
the
my
hay.
sidekick? Are you
Oh
like
yeah.
like a crow or a bird that's like my henchman?
No, you're explicitly a bird man.
Birdman. I was thinking almost
Oh.
like a Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy kind of thing, where I'm your
Yeah.
like creepy sidekick who like squats in trees and
Yeah,
wears a
I like
feathered
that
cloak.
better. Yes, yes, I like that better. Here for
Yeah.
it.
A rattling birdman. Like, you know that guy is creepy.
Yeah,
My arch nemesis.
but you're my best
birdman.
friend.
A rattling.
A rattling and a gator or whatever your name was.
Amigator.
Amigator.
I'm guessing because one of us put together this name generator, the Ami part is a Star Wars thing.
What?
I believe it would start Amidala.
Maybe. I'm pretty sure Dala is in there too.
Yep.
You might notice that some of the names start with Anna and end in kin. I was kind of on a,
Uh-huh.
on a
Yeah,
tear.
or Ami and end with Dala.
Yeah, you know, there's
It's
an
almost-
Obi in there.
My name is half Star Wars, half biology, so it's
Yeah.
obvious that Hannah made this list.
Listen, there's also a Sam and an Antha.
Oh.
What if I get Samantha one day?
Wouldn't that be
Dang.
so funny?
It would
Oh, that'd
be.
be good. Anyway, we read 2 more chapters of Aragon this week. Do you guys want to tell us what happened in the chapters?
Do we?
Do you? Can you? Listen, I'll be more confident in myself. Guys,
Oh,
Tell us what happened.
Oh.
Sure thing. So the first chapter is called Awakening, and shocker, the awakening is the dragon hatching.
Wow.
I know. I was just like so surprised, even though I've never read this book.
Yeah,
This
Sam,
book
could you
is not
believe?
predictable.
It's
I
not
don't know what you're talking about.
predictable at all. But besides that, Aragon has some like weird magic shoot up his arm because of something to do with this dragon. The dragon grows and leaves large dung piles everywhere. And then
Uh-huh.
the chapter ends with Aragon seeking out the help of Brom, and what seems to be the telepathic relationship he has with the dragon begins to settle into place.
The dragon says his name for the first time. It's cute.
It's cute.
It's cute.
Oh, gosh. Well, in the second chapter, T for Two, Aragorn goes to find Brom, the storyteller, to ask him questions about the Dragon Riders, which gives us another good world-building chapter. Gotta like those. So, along with Aragorn, we learn that the dragons and the dwarves are the indigenous races of Allegasia, and the history of the Dragon Riders, or Shurtugul, as they call themselves. Notably, the very first Dragon Rider was an elf named Aragon, which I'm sure won't be prophetic in the slightest. So we get a little bit of that rider history and dragon physiology and magic stuff, which I'm sure we'll get into later, and all of this, of course, happened long before the current era, and nobody has seen a dwarf or a dragon since Galbatorix's rise to power. So this whole chapter is more storytelling from Brom, who was not Gandalf, he's Brom.
He's definitely
super
not gonna
different.
die.
No, definitely not.
No, haven't you heard? He's already died and he's a ghost.
Yeah, what was with that line?
At some point, Aragon just says like, "Oh yeah, I heard the story you told about." He's talking about the one from the last chapter, and Brom is like, "Story? If it's a story, then the rumors of my death are true, and you are speaking with a ghost." Just like it's just like there's I don't know about you guys. I don't know that story necessarily implies that it's fiction.
Yep.
No.
Like I'd be like, oh, it's a good story. I guess it does imply that it's embellished or something.
But a story could be true.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a true story.
You can tell someone the story of something that happened to you at work recently, and you go, "Oh man, let me tell you a story."
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like Brom was just kind of being dramatic.
Yeah,
Because he's Gandalf. He has
he's
to
Gandalf.
be. It's part of the job description of his character.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
also interesting that he would be so dismissive of the idea of a story when, like, for the vast majority of human history, we had, like, oral traditions as the main method of, like, teaching and cultural preservation, which is literally just storytelling.
Yeah, and isn't
Yeah.
his title storyteller?
I don't know if that's his title or if that's just kind of like a role he takes in the town.
Okay.
But that is what he's referred to in the previous chapters for sure.
Yeah.
Or how he is referred to.
Because it also kind of seems the implication is that he is an oral history teller, right?
Yeah.
Whatever, he's mad about it.
Yeah. So clearly the point of that is a kind of ham-fisted attempt to make you, the reader, be like, oh, this is true. It's not just like a legend. This is actual true stories about the Dragon Riders. And, you know, it works. It gets the point across.
Sure. It's a fun time.
Yes.
The whole chapter is a little ham-fisted.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally God being like, I'm the reader, here's a question, and Brom being like, here's the answer.
Yeah, it's very much like the first half hour or so of a movie or the first couple episodes of a TV show where people have conversations that feel kind of clunky because they're clearly just designed to give the viewer information. Like a new character shows up on screen and the protagonist is like, oh, hello, sister. Like, this reminds me of how happy we used to be before mom died of cancer. And it's like, nobody talks like that in real life, but this is giving information to the audience. And that's kind of the same vibe that this chapter has.
It was very info dumpy. It was
Very
very
much so.
much tell, not show. Like,
Yes.
And
yeah.
like, I'm not against tell instead of
Mhm.
show chapter. I mean, especially like this gets a lot of information in like 4 pages,
Hmm.
and it was fairly like believable method to take it on. So I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. It fits in with the kind of premise of the story. It's just like,
Yeah.
okay, Aragon found a dragon. He goes to talk to the one person in this town who knows anything about dragons, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, this is believable.
Yeah.
Which does raise the question of why Brom knows so much about dragons and the
Yeah.
dragon riders if Carvajal is like so isolated and the dragon riders have been gone for so long. Like, where did he get all this information?
He's probably an immortal dragon rider.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's my guess. Is that, well, again, I know nothing. But I'm sure there's going to be some sort of twist where he used to be a dragon rider, and then he's going to end up teaching Aragon how to ride the dragon and all the tricks and stuff, and that's just my guess.
Interesting.
But I mean, Hannah probably remembers best. Like,
I was gonna say, I know the answer.
am I hot? Am
But,
I cold?
Do you want me to tell you?
No, let's just keep it. Let's keep it a surprise.
All right.
Let's
Well,
keep
you're-
it guessing.
You're either correct or incorrect. I'll give you that much.
I'll give you that
What?
much.
It's nothing.
Exactly.
That's how much you're getting.
One or the other.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, you mentioned that he's an immortal dragon rider, which is an interesting fact that we get from this chapter, that both dragons and the dragon riders are functionally immortal unless they are killed or seemingly their partner is killed. So they say if you kill the rider, then the dragon can die, and presumably it goes the other way.
So, can his dragon be dead and he still be alive? It's just that now he could be killed, or like,
I think that would mean that if Brom is a dragon rider whose dragon has been killed, he will now age and die, where he wouldn't have before, is kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
Well, wait, the dragon riders like went extinct more than a lifespan ago, right?
He says it was long before his time, Brom says, that the last of the riders
maybe
were
I'm
killed.
off, or maybe he's hiding a dragon somewhere. But
Maybe
how do you
he's
hide
hiding a
those
dragon.
dung piles?
It's true.
True. Lots of dragon poop everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, nobody goes into the spine. Maybe there's a dragon living there. More
There
than
is
one.
now.
There is now.
Can you just, guys, wait. As people who've come from the husbandry, zookeeping, aquarium industry, can you just imagine the husbandry of a full-fledged dragon
Oh,
and
God.
having to clean that?
Oh my god. I mean, I imagine it would be more like people who take care of large ungulates or
Yeah.
Yeah.
something, probably.
Yeah, the largest animals we collectively ever took care of were chondrichthyes, sharks, and sawfish, which are
Mhm.
big, but don't quite have the same capacity for, quote, giant dung heaps as reptiles.
Also, like, they're in the water. It
Yeah,
just kind of
it's
goes
a different-
away.
I
Yeah.
mean, I got shit on by a sawfish, guys. It still comes out if you're under it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
true. I mean, I feel like one of the key differences, this is a bit of an aside, but between
Yeah.
aquarium husbandry and like terrestrial husbandry is that in terrestrial husbandry, your poop is bigger, but in aquarium husbandry, you're much more likely to get it in your mouth.
Yeah.
Ah! I hate
don't think-
that!
I did not
It's
go a full week
true.
in that job without getting poop in my mouth once.
I got so much
I-
urchin poop in my mouth.
I'm
It's-
like, that wasn't really an issue with the jellyfish.
Yeah, those of us with real animals had
I
poop
did
problems.
drink.
Oh!
Okay, I'm leaving the call.
I mean, you did accidentally put a jellyfish in your mouth. I feel like that's
Okay.
still worse.
That was one time.
True. Anyway, we've gotten off topic.
Anyways,
We've
yeah.
gotten off topic.
Yeah, but Brom does mention that even the small dragons had wingspans over 100 feet, and that like the bigger they got, or the older they got, the bigger they got, and some of the older ones could have passed for large hills. And just because Aragon explicitly mentions the volume of poop that comes out of his baby dragon, like, can you can
I'm
you
a
even,
child, sorry.
oh my gosh, a dragon the size of a small hill. It seems to be a carnivore. Aragon's dragon is only eating meat. So, like, having carnivorous poops coming out of that gigantic lizard is just an image.
But it was clearly written by a 16-year-old boy because the giant dung piles were specifically mentioned.
Yes.
I am a 16-year-old boy. Why am I finding this so funny?
I mean, that is like a genuine consideration.
It 100% is. It's just not something you usually see a lot of authors, I guess, make note of. Like, you
Yeah.
kind of don't, you never make note of like the ugly sides of having an animal companion or something like that, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I
I
don't
wish more
think
of them would.
I know, but I was like, I don't think George R. R. Martin and Daenerys Targaryen and her three dragons ever considered the impacts of their giant dung piles. Anyways, I've ruined this for myself.
We've talked about poop for way too long. Can we move on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
So I wrote down like a bunch of the pertinent details that
Okay.
Aragon listed in these 2 chapters
Yeah.
about the dragon and its biology.
Heck yeah.
So I'm just gonna rattle them off real fast.
Okay.
Super sharp teeth, serrated claws, swallows meat whole, and is apparently an obligate carnivore. It only eats meat.
Mm-hmm.
They never stop growing. Like Hannah said, the wingspan can be over 100 feet. They can reproduce and breathe fire at 5 to 6 months, but they breathe fire for longer the older they are. They double in size in their first week. Yeah, and they have a magic to extend their lifespan. And my theory, warm-blooded, because Aragon mentions that when he touches the wing, it's warm.
It also survives by itself in the woods in winter.
Yeah.
True. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, there was one other sentence that was kind of weird to me, where when he pets the dragon, it says it arches its back like a cat. And like, lizards can arch their back, but they don't really do that.
Okay.
Like reptiles and mammals, the biggest like difference between them, one of the big differences between them is like in their locomotion and how their bodies are set up. So like if you think about how a gazelle runs or how a dolphin swims, it's like a gallop, right? It's like a vertical up and down. But like reptiles do a side to side. Like they slither like a snake, or like a lizard walk is like a snake.
Okay.
And so like to say that this lizard, this dragon, like arches its back like a cat, like they can do that, but it's not like a super natural contortion of the body.
Right.
So I don't know. It's just like a weird thing to me that maybe we can touch back on later. Maybe they'll give us more information.
Yes.
I
feel like, other than some of the like surface aesthetic things, this is going to be a creature that is basically a mammal with scales, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Christopher Paolini like considered the accurate biology of a dragon too much.
Yeah, which
well, don't worry.
fine.
We will take him to task for 24 episodes about it.
We will.
That's why we are here.
That's why we're here.
I did notice something that might tie into that, which is that the dragon has spikes along its spine from the base of its head to the end of its tail, but there is a gap in the spikes and an unusually large dip at the neck where it meets the shoulders, which to me is kind of implying this is a space for somebody to ride, which then implies some kind of like convergent evolution almost, or coevolution of these
Mhm.
dragons with their riders to like make them more adaptable to living with like a human or an elven rider. And that could be something else, or that could be something that relates to the idea of this dragon arching like a cat and like displaying affection in
Yeah.
a very, or in a way that humans interpret as affection.
Mhm.
I thought that sentence just meant that because of like the connection of the neck and shoulders, there wasn't a spike there. But
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
I could also definitely be wrong. It just seems very
Yeah.
convenient that it's like, oh, there's like an unusually big gap and this like unusually shaped dip on the back of this dragon before its wings. And like it could just be that dragons are naturally shaped that way, but
Yeah, that's
being
weird
the
that like
found family fated bond kind of sucker that I am, I'm like, oh my god, the dragons are like built to be with their people and then they influence their people to be able to keep up with them better, which Brom gets into a little bit as well.
oh my
So
god,
I
I
thought that was
do
cute.
hate the idea of selection, artificial selection on a sentient creature.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think, yeah, that's really gross. Uh,
But maybe it wasn't. It was, commensal. It was the two of them together. Symbiotic
yeah,
is what I meant.
I was about to say, like, oh, if I remember correctly, I think, like, the dragons are the ones that, like, choose which dragon eggs get given to people, but then that means dragons do eugenics, and I don't think that's better.
Yeah, also, if the dragons and the dwarves were here, does that mean their natural cohort is is a dwarf?
I doubt it. Because the history that we get from Brom is that the dragons and
Oh
dwarves were
yeah,
like the
right.
two sapient species kind of coexisting on this continent. And then the colonizer elves came over, started killing dragons because they thought the dragons were just like beasts. And the dragons were like, absolutely the fuck not, and started
Yeah.
killing elves. Things happen. Aragon the First finds a dragon egg, raises it as his friend, and the dragons and elves are like, oh, we should have an alliance and do this all the time, which is like cool, I guess. So it wasn't a thing before Aragon the First kidnapped an infant and
Right.
subjugated it.
Yeah.
That got away
That's
from me.
yeah, that's surely not enough time for natural selection.
No, my thought was that it's influenced by magic in the same way that the dragons exert magic that physically changes their riders. Maybe they're also exerting
Oh yeah.
magic that physically
Mhm.
changes their own physiology. Physically
Yeah.
physiology. God damn.
Physics,
I'm
physical
just imagining.
physiology.
Yeah. Now I'm just imagining that the elves just have like these like very wide cowboy stances.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
The dragons have changed to have this like sitting spot on their neck, but the elves have changed to have like an extremely wide stance.
Yeah. The physical changes that happen when you
Yeah.
become paired with a dragon. You get pointy ears, you get keener eyesight and stronger magic, and your pelvis and hips widen so that your
Yeah.
leg span is
Yeah.
broader.
Oh my god.
Sort of like how you describe someone, looking like a rapier
Yeah.
with their very wide legs.
This elf is a rapier, and this one is a barrel.
Yeah, this one is one of those like workhorses.
Oh yeah.
What are they? Sawhorses? The sawhorses.
Yes, the
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna write a book and describe someone as like being built like a
sawhorse.
sawhorse. Legs akimbo,
Yeah, the
weirdly
elves so
horizontal.
graceful. With their legs with a 4-meter span.
Uh-huh. Well, you know how sometimes you like trip over your own feet? I bet you don't do that
Yeah.
if your legs are 4 feet apart.
There you go. So, based on the there are just some of the things mentioned about this dragon that I
Uh-huh.
would like to talk about.
Okay.
So, this dragon has wings, and even the smallest ones, according to Brom, have wingspans of over 100 feet, which is like really fucking big.
That's so big.
That's so, like, just think about that. That's so big.
And, like, I'm assuming he means at the point of, like, sexual and pyrotechnical maturity, right?
Yeah.
So, like,
It's
within
still,
5 months, they've
yeah,
become that big?
that's still really fucking big.
I just imagined a little baby dragon with like 100-foot long wings.
Oh my god.
So, as some of you might know, I am a big fan of whales,
Oh god. Okay, I thought
and
you were going to
the
say Formula 1.
biggest also that the biggest animal that has ever existed on Earth is the blue whale, which can also grow to be about 100 feet long.
Oh my god.
So these dragons, their wingspan by the time I suppose they are 5 or 6 months old are already the size of an adult blue whale.
That's so big.
That's so big. That's like
Yeah.
almost unfathomably large.
How did that fit in
Yeah.
the egg?
Well, it was little.
Oh.
It was a
It
baby.
was only as long as his forearm, I think he said.
Yeah,
it
which
was
is like
birthed.
about a foot usually average.
Yeah. It's wild.
Okay.
Just sidebar. I did look up how fast. I was just like, something big that,
Yeah,
is
that
sort of a
matures
lizard,
quickly.
Yeah.
but is warm-blooded. And as everyone knows, birds are basically lizards that are warm-blooded.
It's true.
Because dinosaurs were probably warm-blooded. So I looked up how fast an ostrich can grow.
Oh yeah.
Ostriches grow 25 centimeters per month in their first year.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's pretty fast. So
Yeah,
pretty
not as
fast.
fast as a
Yeah.
dragon.
not as fast as a dragon, but conceivable.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, back to their wingspan. There's this thing in birds and I guess airplanes called called wing loading.
Uh-huh.
Oh no.
And wing loading basically means like the surface area of your wing versus how much weight it can carry.
Mhm.
Okay.
And so like a higher wing loading. Let me make sure I'm getting this right. Let me just check.
I'm just struggling to
don't
take
wanna
any
get
of
this
this
wrong.
serious since wingspan.
Don't even.
No, don't even go there. We're not talking about Sarah J. Maas.
Oh, damn it. Sam, you just ruined the dragon for me.
I don't think I could ever ruin dragons for you.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so a lower wing loading means a very large wing compared to a very tiny body or a very light body.
Okay.
So like a monarch
Like a
butterfly.
bat. Okay.
Like
A monarch butterfly, right? Like that tiny
Sam,
itty
shut up.
bitty insect. And a bat. I mean, I didn't look up a bat, but I can. I mean, they do have bat wings. He says they have fingers of bone in between the skin.
Yes. The skin is
Anyway.
very. He makes a point of mentioning how like heavily vascularized the wing membrane is,
Yeah.
which I thought was interesting.
That's not.
I'm muting Sam. Shut up.
Yeah.
Damn it.
The
I'm
dragon
not
is
saying
ruined now.
anything.
No.
I'm trying so hard to talk about wing loading.
Okay, sorry. Start again. Wing loading.
No, it's too late. No, if you have a very high wing loading, it's a very tiny wing for like a big body. But
Okay.
if you have like a very fast aircraft, you can have a very low wing loading because it doesn't need as much lift.
Okay.
So a very but if you have low wing loading, it means you have to like land or take off over a much longer distance. So if you've ever seen like an albatross trying to land,
Uh-huh.
their wing loading is like too high, so they just like crash into the ground.
It's not graceful.
Yeah,
Unlike
anyway, it's
an
very
elf.
funny. Yeah, but anyway, so at some point, I cannot do it yet, but knowing
Okay.
that the wingspan is 100 feet, if I get either the weight of the dragon or like if I can figure out the area of the wing. I guess if I just did math based on bat wings. But anyway, we'll do that next time. I can figure out the wing loading of a dragon. which I'm very
Uh-huh.
excited about.
Okay.
So yeah, get hyped for that, you guys.
Wow, I'm so excited.
Yeah, but I did also look up some big lizards that had wings,
Like
just to give you
dinosaurs?
an idea of how fucking huge this dragon is.
Okay.
So the biggest bird to ever have existed, or I guess the widest wings of any bird, was Pelagiornis, which is like an albatross, extinct.
Okay.
Cool.
That was 24 feet wide,
Oh.
the wingspan.
24 feet.
So if you imagine 4 Pelagiornises across, that's one
Yeah.
dragon.
Yeah, to give you an idea, the biggest albatross is like 3 meters across, which Pelagiornis was like 8 meters across.
Cool, 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 cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Big.
Yeah.
Big.
Summary, big.
Summary, big. The biggest flying creature ever, though, was probably a pterosaur, one of the flying
Yeah.
reptiles, not dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs? The flying dinosaur?
Not dinosaur. If it was in the water or in the air, it was not a dinosaur.
Excuse me. I watched Land Before Time and Pichu was totally a dinosaur in that movie.
Not
So-
a dinosaur. Not.
He's not? Pichu's
No,
not a dinosaur?
I'm so sorry. No. If it had wings and isn't a bird, then it
Then what was
Wasn't.
it?
wasn't a dinosaur. It was a pterosaur, a reptile.
Oh.
A cool one. Anyway, Quetzalcoatlus was probably like, I can't say that. Quetzalcoatlus? Anyway, was probably 12 meters wide wingspan, which is
Okay.
like 36 feet. So only 3 of those needed.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, probably only like 200 kilograms. 36 feet wide, and it's only 200
Wow.
kilograms.
Wow. Oh my god.
You gotta be real light to be able
Super
to
light.
fly.
Yeah, that'll
Yeah.
be interesting later on because I'm sure. I mean, considering that there's talk about dragon riders, I assume that Aragon is going to put his human bulk upon this dragon.
Yeah, like if a human is already like whatever, 70 kilos, that's a good chunk.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Dragon's gonna be strong as hell.
Yeah. Oh man. It's weird to me that like the being able to mate and breathe fire at 5 to 6 months.
It seems very young.
That also implies that the breathing fire is like a maturity
Yeah,
reproductive thing.
I was like, is it like a secondary sexual characteristic?
Yeah. Now I'm imagining they use it like a display.
Yeah, I was just thinking that too.
That would be fun.
That would be really cool.
Didn't they do that in How to Train Your Dragon? I never watched the third one, but I just remember there's a scene where like Toothless does something to attract a lady.
Oh,
named
he does a whole
Gary.
bunch of things.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I watched that one either.
Yeah.
I watched it a couple months ago.
Did you?
It's
Okay.
cute. Yeah.
Just do a little fire dance for your lady.
Yeah, I think she used her fire to attract him, and he did a lot of like really inept like bird of paradise dances.
I like that even more. I love that even more.
I do really like the idea of fire as a secondary sexual characteristic used in like reproductive attraction.
Yeah. I just think all the time about how great it would be if humans had evolved from a species where like the dudes had to do a dance or like grow
Yeah.
fancy feathers or build you a nest of blue things to impress you.
I mean, we do have males that grow facial hair and are like significantly more able to grow muscle.
Yeah, but I wish they were like, you know, those like flagtail nightjars where they just grow like a pennant off of
Yeah.
their butt.
Oh, yeah.
Pennant winged nightjars or whatever they're called.
I do think other animals have like objectively more fun sexual attractant features, but also if you think about the ones that humans have in very biological terms, it gets really funny and really weird.
Yeah.
Imagine if you saw like a fish it was like, yeah, in order to attract a mate, this fish grows giant, I guess fish doesn't work, but this fish grows facial hair, and this one grows like giant organs for feeding its young, and those
Oh
are things that
God.
are attractive. And it's like, what the
What the hell?
who came up with that system? Also, they
So
stand upright and it ruins their entire skeletal system. Why do they do that? Nobody knows. I'm
I
not
need a
mad about my boobs and my
fish.
back. It's fine.
Oh, yeah. Boobs plus back plus microscope do not equal a happy
Oh,
woman.
oh God.
Oh
I'm in
God.
a lot of pain.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
And I just, like, I always kind of forget how inconvenient boobs are. That just reminded
Oh,
me that my back pain
I
is
never
probably attributed
forget.
to that and the microscope.
I never forget.
I was gonna make a very tasteless joke about this is why people with boobs have been excluded from the sciences for so long.
Oh.
But I won't make it.
Our poor feminine backs can't support the weight of our
Yeah.
mammaries as we microscope.
As you do science.
Sophie, you can make that
I mean,
joke,
it's
but then
true.
you're buying me a massage.
Wait,
I
can I
didn't
have a
make it.
massage?
I'm just saying. I didn't make the joke. I'm just saying I
Oh,
could
true.
have.
You just said you
That
could
is
have.
true. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyways.
Yes.
Anyways.
Wasn't in Fireborn, the other dragon book that the three of us have read recently,
Mm-hmm.
the dragons also have to reach like a certain level of maturity before they can breathe fire.
Yeah, wasn't it called like sparking or something once
They
they
called it
sparked?
sparking. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in those dragons, it seemed to be a combination of age and social hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
So like the highest ranked dragons and their social hierarchy would spark first. And most of the more like subordinate dragons were not able to spark until the higher ranked dragons did it first. So that's like an interesting kind of way to do dragon fire breathing.
Yeah.
We don't really have enough information at this point to say whether it's like a secondary sexual characteristic or like a social characteristic or just straight up like maturity. Like I know with
Yeah.
fish, there's no like age at which fish become like sexually mature and start exhibiting those like adult traits. It's usually a function of size. So you can have like a much younger fish that just grew really fast because it was in more ideal conditions that reaches that maturity point earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, it's probably supposed to be mostly for hunting or defense,
Mm-hmm.
but it's weird that it's so late
Yeah.
because like Aragon explicitly says the dragon is able to hunt for itself pretty much immediately.
Yeah, within like the
So,
second
yeah.
day of its life outside the shell, I think.
Yeah, so obviously the fire isn't necessary for hunting.
Mm-hmm. It does seem like something that would be very energetically expensive, right?
Yeah.
Which is usually like a lot of traits that you see that are energetically expensive are for absolute survival purposes or as a sexual display,
Yeah.
right? Am I missing
Which-
anything?
Nope. I don't think so.
I'm sure we'll remember something like super obvious as soon as we finish
Yeah.
recording, but right now those are the only two I can think of.
Yeah, because you even get like venomous snakes won't always inject venom, or
Mhm.
spiders won't even always inject venom when they bite if they like know it's pointless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by no, I mean like the situation meets the criteria that their responses are programmed to
Uh-huh.
do.
And then
Yeah.
you have people who will do energetically expensive things on purpose because if we don't and then we eat too many chips, our pants don't fit anymore, as like a non-specific example that I haven't experienced ever.
Yeah. Non-specific.
Non-specific,
Definitely
very
I
generic.
non-specific.
say with heat on my hips because I've been hiking like every day.
Man, have you also fucked up your hips? Because mine have been killing me for like months and I'm getting real sick of it.
Yeah, I'm 30. I've fucked up every joint that I have.
Yeah, that's fair. Congratulations. They're starting to expire.
Yeah. It's all downhill from here.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, first you have to walk up the hill, which is part of what hurts the joints in the first place. Actually, going
Well,
downhill hurts joints more than
I
going
was gonna
uphill.
say going downhill
Yeah.
hurts me more than going uphill.
Yep.
Yep.
Anyway, physicality is a curse.
Yeah.
I want a robot body or a dragon body. They seem
A
pretty
dragon
cool.
body would be cool, and you'd be immortal.
Okay, speaking of immortals though.
Okay.
Okay.
Vampires?
No.
Vampires.
Okay, so in this chapter, book, whatever, and I think this happens before, I might be really off here, but they call the elves the fair folk.
Yes.
So it made me think, what the hell is the difference between elves and fae? Is it just that the fae have wings, but then not all fae have wings, and then fae are just essentially elves, but then it's usually fairies that are the fair folk, and it's not the elves, and so it's like, do we know the difference?
I think elves are totally like fictional and fae are from like Celtic mythology.
Well, I mean,
Well,
elves are also from, like, I think elves are fae, but like fae don't exist in these books.
Okay.
so the fair folk are just automatically the elves because the fae don't exist?
Like, I think in Celtic mythology, elves fall within fae,
Okay.
but they're usually like little mischievous.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's the word.
Uh-huh.
Like, I think elves exist in Celtic mythology, but they're like little mischievous creatures.
Okay.
So wait, in Celtic mythology, the elves are the mischievous ones and not the fae? I always thought it was the other
No,
way
like,
around. I thought the fae
I
were
think
like
elves
the.
are a type of fae.
Oh. I don't know. I was just like, and it's something I've been thinking about because it's like, why do authors decide that, mostly Sarah J. Maas and a lot of YA these days, that like the fae is what they use instead of elves?
I don't know. Maybe elves feel too overdone. And now it's the fae that are getting
Maybe.
overdone.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't tend to read fae books because it is not my thing.
Because of wingspan.
Well, just there's that, but like even a lot of the other books I've read that like reference fae, the main one that's coming to mind is Wise Man's Fear.
Mm-hmm.
The fae are always, in my experience, which I will acknowledge is quite limited,
Mm-hmm.
they tend to be very sexualized, and I'm not super into that.
Yeah.
Whereas elves are often also sexualized, but in a more like
Untouchable way.
yeah.
But then why is that though? That's what I'm
I
like.
don't
I'm trying
know.
to like, is it just that we over sexualize so it's a fae and then we sexualize it a different way and then it's an elf? Like I don't
I mean,
understand.
I would argue that it's probably because, like, in Celtic mythology,
Mm-hmm.
fairies like steal people away
Mm-hmm.
Right.
or like seduce maidens away or steal husbands or whatever. And Tolkien and other, right, like, because like you can't not include Tolkien when you talk about like
Yeah.
how elves are portrayed in
Yeah.
modern times.
For sure,
But,
yeah.
like, elves are definitely like they've been turned into this, yeah,
Okay.
just like superior floaty forest race.
Like the good fae. So like the traditional fae is like the quote unquote bad fae, and the fair folk. No, that's no, sorry. The fair folk are usually referred to as bad too. Anyways, good fae, bad fae. Good fae
Okay.
equals
Yeah.
elves. Okay, but I
guess so.
I found a Reddit thread for this, and this is why I was laughing earlier before we started recording. And it was like, what is the difference between fairies, fae, and elves? And anyways, this person had this like in-depth description that like fae are usually the human sized, live in a different dimension, blah 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 blah. They have no souls and look down on humans. And then elves, not sure where they come from pre-Tolkien, but like Tolkien is like the main person. Anyways, they're magical, immortal, wise, and nature loving. And then someone comes in with a comment, there are also a short, hardworking type of elf that principally operate out of the North Pole, and an even smaller type that lives in trees baking cookies and similar goods for sale in supermarkets. And I just got a good laugh out of that. So thought I would share it.
Yeah. The mythos of the elf is wide-ranging, and we'll definitely have to get into it further in a later episode.
Yeah, probably once we meet our first elf.
Yes.
Not in the
Yeah.
prologue.
Yes,
Yes.
one who isn't built like a rapier.
Okay, but also, does this sound like... F you, Siri. I didn't say anything. Stop! What? I have no idea. Sorry. I don't know why that went off. I did not say anything. Oh my god. Okay, this is just a train wreck now.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Aragon was named after the first dragon rider, who was an elf.
Yeah, so is this some prelude, like, foreshadowing that Aragon is, like, has some elf lineage to this first Aragon? Like, I know you probably
That
can't
would be
answer that without
interesting.
spoiling it.
That'd be so interesting. I
It
say
would be
as though
so
I remember
interesting.
anything.
And then, like, later on, Aragon asks, like, his own name, what does Aragon mean? And I'm just like, it's literally dragon with one letter removed. Like,
Uh-huh.
what the hell do you think your name means? Like, it's not like Aragon is some prophetic... I swear to God, if he puts, like, some prophetic meaning into, like, Aragon, I'm gonna just be like... Anyways, sorry, that's my rant.
I feel like when I looked up the name, if there had been other things coming up in the book, I would have found it.
Yeah,
But I think it's just dragon with an E.
I think it's
Literally,
just
I'm
dragon with an E.
pretty sure it's just that.
Pretty sure.
Yep.
Is he gonna turn out to be a half-elf?
Hmm.
Who could
We'll find
possibly
out.
say?
He's gonna be a half-elf.
I did find out that elves are from Germanic mythology, like
Oh,
Oh.
are they?
Norse, Anglo-Saxon, and just
Oh, I didn't know that.
continental
Okay.
Germanic. And then fairies or fae folk are more like Celtic, English, French.
Okay. Interesting.
And fairies normally have wings, whereas elves, I feel like, don't. But not
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
fae have wings. So that's where I'm like, then are you
So
an
they're
elf?
they're like enzymes. All enzymes are proteins, but not all proteins are enzymes. All elves are fae, but not all fae are elves.
Yeah, I really think
Oh.
they started as the same thing, but like two different names, and then Tolkien took the word elf to mean his elves. And then that's
Which
how
has then become every elf.
everyone's elf. Yeah. I'm not
Hmm.
sure there was that much difference between elf and fairy before.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. One more thing.
Okay.
I feel like I always come in with one more thing.
Okay.
But one more thing about the biology.
Yes.
Two more things. First, I just want to mention it does not say specifically that this dragon has 4 legs and 2 wings, so we won't get into that yet.
I was looking for that, and I was like,
Me
it
too.
hasn't said it
They
yet.
didn't say
It
it.
didn't
Yeah.
say it, so it's like it can't be confirmed or denied yet.
Can't be confirmed or
Mm-mm.
denied yet. Could be a
No.
big pterosaur, which is why I brought it up. But anyway, that's what I'm hoping. The other weird thing is I like went off on a whole track looking up serrated teeth before because Aragon specifically says serrated, but then I went back and was like, oh, he said serrated claws.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Like serrated teeth exist in nature. Serrated claws do not.
No?
I was gonna say, I can't think of a single example of that in nature.
No.
Yeah, so the only thing I could find about it is surprise birds.
Oh my god.
Some birds have like one talon that is quote unquote serrated, but it's like probably for grooming.
Oh, okay.
Like it's more like a
Oh,
comb
right. I've heard of that.
than serrations for chomping, but like I cannot think why. Because serrated teeth exist to tear through food to get a
Yeah.
bite.
Mm-hmm.
Like why does it pull apart its food with its claws?
Yeah,
I mean,
but
Are
then
they claw-based hunters?
maybe, but also Aragon says that the baby dragon swallows its food whole.
Yeah.
So I wonder if this is... I've decided apparently that this is the hill I'm going to stake my flag on for this
Okay.
book. I wonder if it's a like magically assisted selective evolution thing to make them better fighters, because the
Oh,
dragon
yeah.
riders were sort of established for a very long time as like an extra national military force almost.
Yeah.
Could be a
That's
thing.
honestly the
Maybe.
best guess because
Yeah.
serrated claws don't make any sense.
Yeah, no. If serration is just for ripping,
Yeah.
the only real application of that is hunting, which seems illogical otherwise that would exist in nature, or an active choice for fighting. Maybe.
Yeah. While I was reading that section, I think I literally said out loud to this empty room, like, why didn't you just make it their teeth?
Yeah.
That would have made so much more sense.
Because he's not like other dragons.
Oh, that's
He's
true.
not like other dragons.
Yeah.
That's a
Not.
good point. But then we could have talked about tiger sharks and their serrated teeth,
Ooh.
That's true.
and how T-Rexes also have serrated teeth.
Ooh.
Don't worry, I talked about both of them anyway.
Managed to still throw him in there.
Just
I
gotta drop him
still
in there.
got to talk about it.
Uh-huh. You know what we didn't talk about? We didn't talk
What?
about the Grishaverse, but they have elemental magic in the
Damn it,
Grishaverse, just
Hannah.
like the dragons and dwarves do.
We were so close to not talking about it for a whole episode.
Wow.
For the first of 30 episodes.
Uh-huh.
Or
That's all I had to say. Should we guess what's gonna happen next?
I'm going to edit this episode so that I can cut out that part.
Yeah, go for it.
I'll forget immediately.
It's like, I have other things to do. You can do this one.
Let's guess what's happening next.
Okay.
The next two chapters are called A Name of Power and A Miller to Be.
Ah.
Oh, he's gonna name his dragon a name
Yeah.
of power.
Hell
Yeah.
Yeah, the end of the previous chapter, he gets Brom to list a bunch of dragon names.
Yeah, so Bron lists some. There was Jura, Heodor, Fundar, Galzra, Briam, Ohen, Gretchum, Baron, Roslarb, and Saphira.
God, if only any
Good
of
names.
those seemed like a good fit.
Yeah, right?
I wonder.
One of them seems a little obvious, but
A
maybe that's
little
just
more
because I've read this book before and have
Yeah.
seen the cover.
And have seen the cover and have heard how they describe the color of the dragon every time.
Yes, and have read the passages wherein the dragon has deep sapphire blue scales.
Yeah. I like that one of the dragons gets to be named Ohen the Strong.
Ohen the
And
Strong.
the other ones do not get a qualifier.
Nope. I mean, there was Fundor who fought the giant sea snake. Which giant
Oh,
sea
yeah.
snake? We don't know.
We don't know, but the giant sea snake.
The
Which
giant sea
implies
snake.
giant sea snakes big enough that you need a dragon to fight them?
Yep.
Oh.
Tell me more about that.
Yep. That's a whole thing.
I want to know more about that. I hope we meet a giant sea snake later.
Oh man.
Maybe it also has 6 limbs that
Yep.
have evolved away.
Maybe it doesn't have any and it donated its other limbs to
Oh, to the
The
dragons.
dragons.
That's
You know,
why
with
they
the
don't have any
magic?
legs. Yeah, they magicked the legs onto the dragons.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in the other chapter, I assume someone becomes a miller.
Yeah. Didn't Aragon say in one of the first chapters that is it Horst? Or no, Horst is the blacksmith. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say
Is it
Horst offered him
Roran?
like an apprenticeship. Maybe it's Roran? Fuck that name. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Roran? Maybe Roran will be the miller.
Yeah.
Roran?
Roran. You know.
Roran.
Mhm.
Aragon and his cousin Roran.
They both
Rawr.
become millers. Everyone becomes a miller, and the dragon hangs out there.
You're
And
a
so does the
miller,
dragon.
You're a miller.
Yeah. I think Aragon becomes a miller.
Yes. Aragon Miller.
Yeah.
That's actually his last name.
Yeah. Aragon becomes a miller, and also he is a dragon, and that's the story.
Uh-huh.
Goodbye. The end.
All fantasy characters should be farmers.
Yeah, I don't know that a miller is a farmer, but I'll
What
let it
is a
It's
slide.
close.
miller?
As a
They-
truth farmer,
Oh, true.
I'll let it slide.
As a birdman, I'm probably very interested in what the miller is doing.
As a hay bandit, I'm probably stealing
Ooh.
something from you.
You
The
actually
miller
probably
hates
are
you.
the miller.
Oh.
Wait, what is
Or
a
his
miller?
arch nemesis.
Don't they mill
They mill wheat, don't they?
into flour.
Into flour?
I literally only know this because it comes up in a lot of resource management video games.
Yeah, I was like, Age of Empires.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Not because I know anything at all
Nope.
about anything.
Nope.
I know nothing.
Nope.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah,
Anyways.
I agree. The dragon gets a name and somebody becomes apprenticed to a miller.
Somebody becomes a miller.
Yeah.
Probably not Aragon.
Probably
but we
not
could
Aragon.
Be wrong.
Maybe Aragon is supposed to become a miller, and that's why it's
Oh,
to
yeah.
be,
Maybe.
Oh, maybe.
and then it's not to be
And then it's unbead.
because he becomes a dragon rider.
He becomes a dragon rider. Alas.
Mhm.
Well, anyway, let's talk about what we've been reading.
Yay!
Yeah. I'm deep into the second Drew Hayes Villains Code book. The first book was Forging Hephaestus, and this one is called Bones of the Past, I think. Of the
Ooh.
past? From the past? I'm listening to the audiobook, so I don't look at the cover that often. It's so good. I love these books so much. They're so convoluted, and like the audiobook I think is 38 hours long.
Oh my god.
Mhm.
And they're like giant physical novels, but like, oh my god, they're so good. The relationships and the characterization and the story, you can just see all the little pieces edging together. And it's like, oh man, this is gonna be great. Anyway, I love it. And I also read The Heart Principle, and it was the wrong time for me to read it. But otherwise,
That's fair.
that's what I've been reading.
Nice.
What about you guys?
I'm a complete failure because I'm reading the same 3 books that I've been reading for the last month.
Yay.
Yeah, so I'm still reading our August Midlight book, which is Countryside. I'm still reading The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, and I'm still reading Oathbringer. So, I did decide to DNF a book. I'll talk about that one. How about that?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was called Guild by Raven Kennedy. It's one of those Kindle Unlimited books that's all over TikTok for if you like ACOTAR, read this. It's slated as like a King Midas retelling, and it just ain't it. It's not it.
Why is it not it?
It's just the writing is not great. The main character is not it. There's a lot of just like blatant trigger warnings. It's just not it for me personally.
Cool.
And we all know I'm a big fan of fantasy romance books, but I'm like Bridge Kingdom level, not this. This was too much for me. So I'm not going to finish that. So Hannah, how about you?
Yeah. Well, let me just bring the mood back up by saying
please.
I'm listening to a nonfiction book called Cast: The Origins of Our Discontents by
I read
Isabel
that.
Wilkerson. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's focused on the United States, but it's kind of a dissection and explanation of how caste systems exist in human society and how they kind of form and are perpetuated. And she's very deliberately using language that people are more familiar with applied to like the Indian context where they have like a formalized caste system, but using that more unfamiliar language to talk about basically racism in North America.
Oh, cool.
So, not super cheerful, but like very interesting. And as a white person, very important. I'm about halfway through and there's already things that have come up that I'm like, I never even considered these things and I should think about them because they give me privilege that I didn't even realize I had. So I'm not finished yet, but definitely recommend that one if you, like me, are a white person in North America. And I haven't started reading it yet. Now I'm actually going to bring the mood up because I'm excited. But I pre-ordered Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune, who's the same author who wrote The House in the Cerulean Sea, which we all loved earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And it just arrived this afternoon, so I haven't been able to start it yet, but I'm so excited to read that one. And then, of course, it's October, so at some point this month, we will all be reading one of my absolute favorite books of all time, which is Watership Down by Richard Adams.
Yeah. I'm really glad I got the audiobook for that one, because there's hope that I might actually catch up to our book club, because I have fallen behind.
I mean, now is a good time to admit that I haven't even read Foundry Side yet.
I feel a little bit better.
That's fine. I read it. It was good, but
I'm waiting
not
till
like the
Sam's
best fantasy
done.
book I've ever read.
Yeah, I'm
I
waiting till
assumed you were
Sam's
waiting
done
until I
now
was
that
done.
we live together.
Yeah, I assumed you might be waiting for that. I should be done it this weekend.
That's fine.
But
Take your time.
I make no promises.
I'm still working my way through 28 hours of Bones of the Past, so don't worry about it.
I have 6 hours left of the 55 hours of Oathbringer. Like,
Oh, man.
Wow.
I'm so
6 hours
close.
is like a weekend.
I can definitely finish it with a day of work now that I just work in a microscope. So it'll be
true.
done by the next time we record, I think. But man, it's a marathon. The Stormlight Archives are a marathon.
Yeah.
But a good marathon.
Cool.
So, lots of cool books. Definitely none of us are kind of overwhelmed and reading slowly. That's not a thing that's happening in the slightest.
No,
So-
Not at all.
Nope, none of us.
Not at all.
So if you liked this chapter of Midlight Crisis, consider rating and reviewing us on iTunes or your podcatcher of choice. You can talk to us and find fun-related content on social media. We are at Midlight Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and all chapters of the show thus far are available on our website, midlightpod.podbean.com, and on YouTube.
And this week, to change things up a bit, we have a testimonial from Brom about our podcast. Scholars have devoted entire lives to separating these fictions from fact, but it's doubtful any of them will succeed.
Oh,
Rude.
It's quite
harsh.
rude.
Brom.
Wow.
So
Good came
rude.
for us.
I feel like if Brom listened to our podcast, that might be exactly what he said, but I don't know Brom very well yet.
I feel like he would be harsher, honestly.
True.
He'd be like, story, then my death is true and I'm a ghost.